Hi all, welcome to the second video in our Glasgow case study, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the transport problems and some of the solutions to these problems that we have in Glasgow. Now, first, what is the overall problem that we have and why is it there? Now, the problem really boils down to we've had a huge increase in car ownership and car use across the whole of the UK, but obviously in Glasgow as well. Now, why have we seen that? Now, first, we are seeing an increased population, which is leading to a direct increase in car ownerships. We're also starting to see more and more individual people owning cars as opposed to family groups. For example, there is a much more common to have two, three plus families owning, or sorry, two, three plus cars per family, as opposed to having one family vehicle anymore. Now, this is exacerbated by a lot of people view public transport as something that's unreliable or expensive. A lot of people, particularly if they work shift patterns and stuff like that, then public transport might just not fit in with their needs, so they need to use their own personal cars. And there is a huge amount of just personal preference in not being tied down to a schedule of public transport that comes into play as well. Now, there's huge numbers of people that commute into the CBD, so the people that work in the CBD in Glasgow, around about 25% of them commute in by car. And a lot of these commuters, to make that problem even worse, they meet up on main arterial routes, the M8, the M74, Great Western Road, roads like this, where you have lots of people coming from a wide area, and they all just coalesce in these very small points. On the same theme as that, the River Clyde doesn't have many bridging points on it. The big example here, the Kingston Bridge has got over 170,000 cars crossing it every single day. That's a huge amount of traffic going across that one crossing. Many of the roads that the CBD has just aren't particularly suitable. They're old. We're talking about roads, you've got a gridiron street pattern, so you've got lots and lots of junctions. You've got lots and lots of places where cars are going to need to slow down and stop. This is, it creates bottlenecks, that creates congestion. This is obviously very problematic. There's an overall lack of parking. And by having a lack of parking, it means cars park on the side of the road. And when they park on the side of the road, you go from an area where you would have had, at a minimum, two cars able to pass each other very easily, to a position where you'll only get one car travelling down a street at a time. This again creates congestion. We also see the CBD is seeing a large increase in the number of delivery vehicles coming into the CBD to service the businesses that operate there. That again causes a big series of problems. Now, the core problems that we're looking at, and because of this increase in car use, we're seeing increased congestion, increased amounts of pollution, increased strain on infrastructure. The physical roads that we have in the city centre are becoming more and more worn. An increased number of accidents just purely due to more cars equals the likelihood of an accident becoming greater. And then you also see delays in delivery of goods to high street stores as well, because it's difficult for these delivery services to get in to the city centre. Now, what do we do about it? Now again, there's an array of potential solutions that we have here. And obviously remembering that in amongst this, guys, I'm going to talk about some of the solutions, and I'm also going to talk about some of the effectiveness of these solutions as well, because what's going to be very common is that if you're asked this question by the SQA, they would ask, what are the solutions, and to evaluate the effectiveness of them as well. So, in construct new roads. Now, in Glasgow particularly, we've looked at either constructing new roads or enhancing the road network that's already there. Work that's been done on the M74, the M8, the Southern Orbital route, these are all things where new roads have either been constructed or the roads there have been enhanced to try and take people away from going through the city centre, from going through the CBD. Even if you think about the M8, which does, nip the edge of the CBD, it doesn't actually travel directly through it. You don't have to drive through the CBD on the M8 to get past Glasgow and to get through it. So these, as a rule, it is something that's reasonably effective. You're talking about increasing the road's capacity. However, the controversy about building new roads is pretty massive. When you look at, demolishing houses and businesses in areas of parkland and forestry to construct new roads, that's something that gets met with protest. However, through the enhancements that's been done, we've seen a minimum of 20,000 cars that have came off the M8, which was extremely congested in peak times, and it's made some journeys up to 15 minutes quicker, which is obviously very, very effective. Now we also see the kind of enhancements designed to take strain off other roads is this idea that I'm getting at is by building and enhancing these routes. Now we also see the use of pedestrianised zones like Buchanan Street, areas in Suckyhill Street and Argyle Street, and they're designed to just discourage people from taking the car into the CBD at all. If you can't get your car to the exact area you want to be, you're not going to want to take the car in, and that obviously will reduce the congestion and the volume of traffic in the city centre. Use of one-way systems, so if the entirety, more or less, of Glasgow CBD operates on a style of one-way system, and that's designed to try and improve traffic flow and make it so that people can get around the city more swiftly. Now, we've also got double yellow lines and no parking areas, and this is to try and improve those issues that I talked about earlier, surrounding if you've got cars that are parked on the side of the road, which makes the road relatively narrower. If you ban parking in these areas, it can make that problem much better. Something we could throw in at this point as well is the increased construction of multi-storey car parks. These are areas that are designed to try and get people to stop parking on the side of the road to make traffic flow easier, and they also obviously generate revenue for their owners, whoever they may be as well. Some other solutions that we have is big improvements to public transport. Now we have seen an increase in park and ride schemes, across the UK, and that includes Glasgow as well. And these schemes are obviously designed to give somebody a train station, a bus station, whatever, where they can leave their car, probably somewhere near to where they actually live. So we're really targeting commuters here. And then they can take the public transport to get them into the city centre. To try and encourage people to do this even more, we've been looking at trying to make improvements to the public transport system. So we could be looking at, for example, putting in more bus lanes, general improvements to bus services, which could be things like giving buses, as a lot of buses in the city centre do have, free Wi-Fi, and just generally improving the quality of the buses. However, what we've also seen happen is some bus routes get amalgamated, some bus routes get cancelled. There are also, this is quite an odd one, but it is pertinent. There are also examples of those two number 60 bus routes in Glasgow, which is just confusing. So there are issues with the bus services as well, but we are trying to improve it overall to get more commuters to use it. We also see a really expansive rail network. The rail network around Glasgow is one of the biggest in the UK, and it's obviously designed to try and bring commuters from a larger area into the city centre, into their places of business, without the necessity of them using the road network. And again, this has actually been very, very successful, as we're seeing increased passenger numbers, very particular between Edinburgh and Glasgow. It's one of the busier rail links in the UK, that route. And we are seeing it being used as opposed to people driving this distance. So that is hugely effective. Now, you'll be pleased to hear that this is actually going to be a short video today. I'm going to wrap up under 10 minutes and everything. That really wraps up transport in Glasgow. Some of these little example points that I've thrown in here, they are important, guys. These are the things that really add depth to your answer. John has been in the background being very well behaved today. And with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. There might well be another video being posted very, very shortly, so please keep your eyes open. We're going to be looking at housing problems in Mumbai next. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.